Have you seen, I guess an hour ago, Trump did his first tweet since he had his like 12-hour ban from Twitter. Have you seen that
I
tweet?
have not, but I can look it up.
I was gonna
The
pull it.
video?
Yeah. Oh wait, how?
I mean, if you're gonna...
I don't think we could both react to it live. Huh? How can I? What do you think the best way is to do that?
Uh,
I'll just let you watch it. I'll try to like pause it at the same times. I don't know. No, that's not gonna work. Well, you can hear. No, god damn it! I didn't think of this. Hmm. Well, I'll just let you take a
it
look at
wouldn't
it.
be playing out loud on your computer. Would it
uh,
be playing out loud on your computer? No.
if that would work, then I mean we could do it that way. But I don't think it. I don't think it would work because you have to be able to hear me at the same time as the video, but the way that I hear you
Um,
is through the Discord.
hmm.
Is there a way for you to here, I'll pull it up on mine and then you can pull it up on yours
We'll
and
just
play it out
watch it
loud
together.
and then I'll just pause it at the right times. Do you think that would
Suffer.
work? That's janky as hell.
Sure.
I wonder what other people do.
I can just mute the Discord and then watch the stream, and then I will save my comments to the end. How about that?
Until
And
the
you can
end.
just comment live. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess we
Or
can do
like
it
if
that
you
way.
pause for a significant amount of time.
Yeah. Like when I pause, you can like unmute and then say something and cross your fingers that it doesn't like. Well, no,
Destroy it.
because you should be able to hear my commentary at the same time, right? Because we'll hear each other at the same
But
time.
I won't be able to hear the video.
Well, you'll be able to hear it through the stream. So
Okay.
just whenever I
Yeah, that's
pause
what
and I
I'm
say
saying.
something, you should be able to say something too.
Yeah.
It'll just
Yeah.
be a little bit
But
delayed when you realize that I've paused.
that's fine.
Or I can just tell you I paused. God damn it, why am I so bad at this?
You're not bad. It's fine. I refreshed it just to make sure. Reduce the lag. Okay. The lag is not horrible, so just play the video.
Okay.
Let's go. What do you say?
Right. It should capture the audio too, I think. If it doesn't capture the audio, I guess we're just screwed. Tell me if you can hear it or not. You can't hear it?
No.
Damn it. Christ. If I don't use my
How will we
earbuds,
let the
I don't.
wonderful Twitter users?
Yeah, if I don't play it out loud, I don't think I'll be able to hear you. Because I had to like set it up in a weird way so that the audio is like a multi-output device or whatever with the weird MacBook settings. Damn it. I wonder why it's not capturing the audio. I have it set to do a window capture. I've been trying to do this streaming thing for like more than a month now. Why am I still so like bad at it? Properties.
Did that setting um, like capture the game audio for Breath of the Wild?
Well, so it's a different setting in Streamlabs OBS. With the browser, you do what's called a window capture. But for the
Mm.
USB stuff, you set up a separate video capture and audio capture. But I just assumed that the window capture would capture the audio for the window, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Audio input. Let me see if this will work.
This will work.
Howdy, Mac.
Hey Mac,
Hey Mac, what's up?
You get to
You get to watch me be
technologically
incompetent
for
for
the
the
50th time.
50th time.
Maybe
Maybe
this.
This is random and off topic, but
Wait, I think it's working. Never mind. You can't hear that, can you?
No, I cannot hear the orange man talk.
Christ. Well, lucky you, I guess.
But yeah, there are so many like mushroom things. Well, there's not many. It's very hard to find them, but the few mushroom things that exist are usually all like based on amanitas. And it's like I don't need a 50th like red-capped, white-spotted mushroom item.
Wait, are we
Can I
talking
have
about
some
foraging
morels?
now?
No, just like you know, like stuff with mushrooms on them. Like socks,
Oh, yeah, like the depiction.
mugs. Yeah.
Well, I think it's because, I mean, since the first depictions of mushrooms, like it's always been regarded as like a sacred plant because of the hallucinations, and they thought that it like gave you some kind of connection to be able to like talk to the gods or something. So I think it's just like a cross culturally significant uh, fungus.
I don't think it's that deep. I think it's just people are like, "Oh, that's the Mario mushroom." We'll only do this.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but like, why is the Mario mushroom the way it is? You know, it's because it's based off of this culturally significant one, and I think there was. I mean, it was some random person's theory that I read, but it was talking about how, like, Alice in Wonderland and uh, the original Super Mario games were both based off of that, because it's been described as like when you eat it, you can either feel like you're really big or really small because it changes your perception. I don't know if that's been accurate for you. I haven't tried psilocybin. Um, I know you have dabbled, correct?
Correct. I haven't tried any amanitas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
There's a
I
lot
guess
of
that makes sense because
fun
they can
mushrooms.
be really dangerous if you misidentify them, right?
I don't know
Plus,
about that one.
plus like potency for plants in general, unless you test it, it's really like hit or miss.
Yeah. I think you have to like boil amanitas to get the nasty off them.
Wait, I wonder. what happens if I put the link to this Twitter video in the browser source? Oh, it looks like it's loading the page. I don't know if it would play it though. I'm gonna end up breaking Streamlabs. Okay, I'm just gonna delete that. This is stupid.
Why is Hassan allowed to just have all of his tabs open all the time?
Right? I mean, I've even seen him, like, he doesn't have to set up a whole separate source or anything. He'll just, like, create a new window, and then you can immediately see it. I guess that comes with experience, though.
You should email Hassan directly.
I'm sure he would
How do I do?
definitely want to waste his time on me.
It wouldn't be a waste.
I've been trying to reply to like his tweets and stuff. I want to get his attention. I mean, anything to kind of create traffic on my pages, like even just replying to, like, on Twitter, I searched the word Antifa, and it's like 90% or more talking about how, you know, either people saying, oh, the claim that random people at the riots on Capitol Hill were Antifa, and then the other half is people saying that, like, that's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I made a thread earlier today where I debunked a couple of those claims, because I've seen basically the same two and a half. Ooh, what'd you send me? I was seeing the same, like, two and a half
that might work.
claims for the same people, and they're pretty easy to debunk because the way that these claims are fabricated is, like, literally just some random person is like, wow, this looks a little sketchy at first glance or out of context, and they make it intentionally misleading.
Yeah.
Maybe I should... Wait, will it show my email? Oh. Well, my account isn't private. I shouldn't have to log in to go to it.
Yeah, I usually don't go on Facebook, because it's Facebook. But my grandmother posted something about, like, you know, it's ridiculous that these are, like, this like, coup is being dealt with this way when BLM protests and stuff. It's because these people are white and it's white supremacists and stuff. And then one of her friends in the comment thread posted the BLM guy that you have on the screen right now, and then another one with the it was the dude in that yellow shirt, but she was, like, pointing out how it looks like he has a hammer and sickle tattooed on his hand. And it took me 2 seconds to find the picture and be like, okay, that's a symbol from a video game.
Exactly.
And the other dude is a QAnon supporter.
Yeah.
But okay.
In most of these cases, like, I mean, especially this one that's, like, intentionally cropped to be a square, and so you can't see that he's holding literally a QAnon sign. It says Q sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoever made this, like, even if you are pro-Trump, why would you intentionally make something misleading, you know? I just don't understand why people are willingly intellectually dishonest.
Like, what do you mean?
It's really frustrating.
Oh,
just having to deal with stuff like this, which, like, if you did your due diligence and, like, did a quick Google search for 0.5 seconds, you would easily find that this guy's not Antifa and is very obviously a QAnon person who just shows up to every possible rally, and I'm assuming the reason why he's in so many photos and videos is he probably makes some kind of living off of this, or does it for attention.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
I just
he
find it
like
really
just has
ironic.
friends follow him around with cameras, like all those posing in the halls of the Capitol building, with his like arms up and dramatic and stuff.
Well, this picture was taken just by a journalist at the Arizona rally. He just
Yeah.
happened to be there.
It's just
But yeah,
insane
like
to me people
definitely
fall
some of
for
the pictures
this.
that were coming out. Yeah,
Like,
it,
I mean,
it's
my own father, you know, like he blocked me on Facebook when I commented like a very easy to find Snopes.com link to a fact check when he shared a video that was like, oh, look at these people like slipping ballots under the table or whatever, and you look up and like it's very obvious that they're just doing like regular paperwork and it's been fact checked a million times. I don't know. It seems like the willingness to participate in confirmation bias is just like far more rampant on the right than it is on the left. I mean, I see it among my friends sometimes too, but for the most part, I feel like it's a lot more substantive than here's like a blurry photo of two people that look the same, and then you find out, you know,
yeah.
like this one too. Like someone had to have like remembered these guys from this website before, because if like how would you just find it on Google Images and then see that it's phillyantifa.org and then not click on it and see that they're on that page because like the Philly Antifa chapter or whatever doxed them. I don't know. I just don't think it's possible to make a mistake like that.
I mean, in that case, maybe not. But like the first person to do it, if they were doing it in bad faith, all it takes is just, here they are on the Philly Antifa website, and it'll go.
Yeah.
Someone didn't have to do it genuinely the first time.
Oh,
Hi, Mac.
thanks, Mac. Good night.
Sorry we streamed so late.
Yeah. I mean, I could stream earlier in the day. I remember reading that it was saying that basically the later at night that you stream, you have a better chance of getting more viewers because there's still a decent number of viewers, but less people who are willing to stream that late. Or maybe that's just what they want me to believe, so they can have all the viewers earlier in the day. I don't know.
No, but yeah, about the Arizona guy, like I find it like really ironic that like for a number of crises in the past few years, people on the right have been like, oh, these are crisis actors, they ship them out, George Soros is busing these people into these locations. And this dude is literally flying all over the country in the middle of a pandemic.
Which dude?
To like the Arizona dude, the bull horn feather guy. Yeah.
I didn't realize that I had the window for the browser capture like set up weird, so it was totally cutting off what I had actually tweeted. Oh well.
Yeah,
but
like
basically,
I refuse to learn his name.
in
but,
case
like,
people missed it, this guy is actually a QAnon supporter. You can see it in the uncropped version of the photo that Trumpists have been sharing, and shows that it's Q sign. And then with this case, with phillyantifa.org photo, they're actually posted on there because they are Nazis identified at certain events. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's just like, and he's not the only one. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was this. I think it was CBS interviewing a chick that had just gotten maced, because she tried to rush the Capitol building. And she was like, "I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee." Like,
Yeah.
do you know how far? That's like an 8-hour drive. Just to come do some stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, she was probably there just for the big ass Trump rally, and then Trump, directed everyone over to the Capitol,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
insane.
But it's still like, this is what you're willing to travel for.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Do you have any theories about what's going to happen next with Trump? Do you think he's going to pardon himself or flee the country?
Can he even do that?
I watched. It wasn't legal. It was someone who was like doing a rebuttal to legal, who was like actually looking at the raw text for where the Constitution talks about the presidential pardon, and there was only one limitation to it. I think it was, oh yeah, if the president is impeached or like undergoing impeachment proceedings, then he's not allowed to pardon people. But that's the only restriction, and says that people can be pardoned for any crime, and it doesn't make any restriction on who can be pardoned. So, seemingly, it's technically illegal for him to pardon himself, and I mean, it would probably fall along party lines, maybe, where people object to that. I feel like Republicans, for the most part, would be in support of him pardoning himself. It's an interesting question with the Supreme Court who would do that, because even though it's technically legal, and a lot of them claim to be originalists, which, I mean, I don't think is really a real thing at all, because it's always going to be subject to people's own interpretations. I mean, it didn't fall along party lines for his for the like Texas legal challenges to the election. So I think they might just not want to set a precedent that presidents can, pardon themselves or other people without limitation, because then you could have, a president do quite literally any number of crimes, or have other people commit crimes on his behalf, just like Trump has, and then is now pardoning people. I don't even know how people would go about like challenging something like that.
That would be fucking wild.
You're the political
Like,
science person, so I don't know what the process is for
phoned
that.
one in.
Do what?
I phoned that one in and also focused on the wrong region. It would. I can't see the Supreme Court allowing something like that to happen.
Yeah.
Especially since like the few Republicans who aren't like diehard trumpets, since he's lost the election, I feel like a lot of them are like, they're not growing a spine, they're just behaving like normal people.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's like just pure optics. Like they just,
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, I think for the most part, they're going based off of who they know their voter base is. Like if they live in a state that leans Republican and they need the crazy vote, then I think they'll just support Trump no matter what, because they want to retain power and the money that comes with it.
I mean, yeah, like I'm not saying it's a like
a decision that they're making, like, for the good of the country. They're doing it for their own benefit.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to note that, like, their benefit has shifted away from aligning themselves with Trump.
Yeah. I was actually very
Like-
surprised yesterday when, and it was really entertaining and satisfying to watch how after the terrorists occupied the Capitol and they were driven back out, when they actually reconvened, most of the Republican senators had actually withdrawn their support of the objection for the House members that like had their objection in writing. So then, I mean, overall, they ended up actually saving time, you know? Like, they didn't even end up delaying the proceedings because every single senator that changed their mind reduced the length of the proceedings by 2 hours each. So really, thanks to those terrorists who made me have to watch, 8 hours less of C-SPAN than I would have had to. But yeah, I was surprised that the
maybe we should
Republicans
do coup
actually
more.
do what? We should do a coup.
More often.
I saw a couple
Can pass
posts from
the
my
bill.
like enlightened centrist acquaintances who were saying stuff like, "Oh, if the left and the right were smart, they would work together to take over the Capitol and take back the country and make it decent."
That's certainly a take.
I just-
that is a take one could hypothetically have.
I don't even know how in someone's
wow.
mind that would work logistically. Like, how do you even string together those thoughts in your head and think that they
You
make
don't
sense?
make bedfellows with Nazis.
Yeah. They think that, like, we're gonna form, like, a new Congress and we're gonna shake hands and somehow the left and the right just, like, mix to make perfect society.
It's horseshoe theory.
Horseshoe
It's
theory?
like peak horseshoe theory.
I'm not familiar with
Politics
that.
is a circle. It's basically so you have the center, and then, like, as you go towards the extremes, they kind of bend back into each other, so it looks like a horseshoe. It's essentially saying that the far left and the far right are almost ideologically identical, which is wrong. I don't know how better to put that. It's just wrong. There is no, like, even, like, moral equivalence between, like, genocide and, this is slightly strawmanning the whole thing, but, like, wanting everybody to have food.
Yeah. Literally, like, how is that even a thing? How is that even a theory? I mean, I guess I would kind of get what he was saying if they meant, like, Democrats and Republicans aren't that different, which on most points is true. But the left and the right? Because, I mean, both Democrats and Republicans are, for the most part, right-wing parties. But the left and the right, like, even just by definition, how would you say that those two are the same?
Yeah.
I just realized the stream is, like, eerily quiet because there's no, like, video game music in the background.
Silence.
Here, I'll just turn on the game.
Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
So there's some nice music. Yeah, there's another, like, theory that's gaining a little bit more traction. It's like fishhook theory, so you don't even have a little player profile on the Switch.
Uh, there is one. It's just not mine.
There's one.
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
saying you don't have one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I I think it was because at first I had a little bit of progress on um, Smash Bros. Ultimate on Kirsten's Switch, and then she got a second Switch, and then that was the one that she gave me, and then I was like, well, I didn't want to start over, but I should have just made my own account and started over. I wasn't even that far into it.
No, it's too late.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so the fishhook is like you go from the left, and then as you go to the right, it starts curving back up, like over the whole line. Because, like, you know, as you go along, it just kind of veers off into what the fuckery.
Yeah.
And it's the same ideology, it just gets more violent.
I hate the idea that, like, just by the nature of something being, far in any direction on the political spectrum is a bad thing. Like, how can you possibly compare, a commune where people share all the resources and, like, don't own personal property to, Nazi Germany? Like,
It's.
I think that's a fair equivalence as far as like far left versus far right. Like the furthest left thing I can think of is literally just like a commune.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, there hasn't been a true, even socialist government, right?
Yeah.
As far as like theory goes.
Yeah. They've been pretty like democratic socialists at their extent, and then like obviously a lot of them still had capitalist ties because like participation on the global market and stuff.
Yeah.
The Zapatistas are doing pretty good, but they would hesitate to be called socialist or anarchist, and they're not technically a state, which is kind of the whole point.
Yeah. So, last time when I played this, I think you had to leave before I got off, so I didn't want to do the fire beast without you, so I'll do that this time.
Be watched. Yeah, no, not the fall of shit, but the fall previous. I was in a introduction to Southern politics class. So we were talking about the political development of the U.S. South. And obviously it was in the middle of the primaries, so we were talking about, like the different candidates and stuff, and at that time everyone was still in the race. It was before Biden and Bernie. And I made the comment that Joe Biden is basically a Republican, and the entire class laughed at me.
Wait, what class
and then
was this?
one dude, Introduction to Southern Politics.
Well, I guess if it's an intro course, but like, you would think people would have some kind of political understanding. Yeah, then what the hell? Do they just not actually pay attention and they just took the class because they thought it sounded interesting? Because if you even remotely pay attention to politics,
political science students.
Yeah, well, maybe they took Intro to Southern Politics because they are Southern and they're more inclined to be conservative. And right now, the conservative narrative is that Biden is a socialist. Or, I mean, as I was called today, a communist. Did you see that?
Today?
Yeah, where I argued with
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, with
Very small.
yeah. I wasn't sure if I should like say any specifics like that, but I mean,
Oh,
I even
sorry.
told my whole like dad story about how he met Diane through his elaborate process of grooming children.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but yeah, and then some dude was like, "Well, Chris Christie is basically a Democrat," and I'm like if you cannot see these like basic truths of like art, their whole thing was that like,
I mean, that's
uh,
even fair to say
you
of
know, anything
Obama,
seems like far. Yeah,
I mean, as far as like the
they're
policies
just
he
taking him
enacted.
at his word.
Yeah.
Just
But
taking him at his
by
word that he's a
him,
Democrat.
you mean Trump?
Biden.
Wait, taking who at their word?
They're taking Biden at his word that he's a Democrat and not
Oh.
essentially a Republican with a blue coat.
So what do they even think that Democrat means?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
essentially a meaningless word. It just kind of tells you like which voters under a very big umbrella they're trying to appeal to.
And not even all the time.
I think it's interesting, like the way things are polarized, especially right now. Like, it seems like the Republican Party doesn't care at all anymore to try to appeal to centrists. Like, do you think that's a fair assessment? Like, I think they've just left centrism altogether. I mean, they think that they are moderate, but
Yeah.
like, do you think they'll ever return to respectability politics and saying they care about things like tradition? Like, I mean, after,
I think
their supporters went in, Capitol Hill and did all that, and I mean, that's like saying you're a Christian and wiping your ass with the Bible,
yeah.
I don't know how they could possibly. I mean, I'm sure they will continue to say that those are things they support, because as we've seen over and over again, they have no sense of hypocrisy or most of them even morality. I will say I think that a lot of the QAnon people who legitimately believe that Trump is like trying to save the world from the deep state and a massive ring of pedophiles and sex traffickers, assuming they disagree with a lot of the other things that Trump has done, I think they can be decent people. Like Khaleesi, who's been on the stream, and she's in the chat and stuff. Like everything else that I've talked to her about politically, she's for Medicare for all. She uses the correct pronouns for people. Like just very anti-Trump things, but just because she believes that Q is telling the truth and that he's going to save millions of children from pedophiles every year, that he's the one who should be, trusted and voted for.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that, but have you met anyone else like that? I mean, I know there are a lot of Q supporters now, like literally millions. Probably the majority of Trump supporters, I would say, are Q leaders now. On some level. But have you met anyone else who was like a Q believer, yet they believe in leftist positions?
No. The hopelessly, I don't know, you know, like, ignorantly hoping that Q is still relatively small and little fringe.
I really think the majority of them are believers because I think it just kind of fits their, you know, it's what they want to believe. Like, they want to believe that he's a hero and the protagonist of this story, and, like, that's a really easy way to frame him. And I think that's part of why we see a lot of the rhetoric calling Biden, like, a sex offender and a pedophile, which I think might be true on some level. I don't think he's involved with, like, Epstein or anything like the Clintons probably are, but I'm just saying I think that's why they're leaning so hard into it now. Like, it's just another way to change the framework of, or the framing of what we're dealing with. But I mean, I'm kind of seeking it out lately, so maybe it's more fringe than I think it is.
Like, they have the right idea. There is a pedophile issue,
Yeah.
but Trump is participating in it.
Yeah. I've literally seen them say, like, undercover cops have to do a few lines of coke every now and then. Like, saying that part of Trump taking down the deep state meant he had to stick his dick in children. It's insane.
I don't think you would, like, celebrate that cop, though.
What
You're like,
cop?
oh, but you still did it? Like, the hypothetical cop that's doing it. Like, there's a line somewhere, and
Also, I don't even think that's really true. Like, maybe off the books they do that, but, like, I don't think that if you're busting a prostitute that it's okay for you to, like, actually stick your dick in a prostitute, you know? Like, I mean, I know cops do that, like, as I said, off the books as, like, a bribe or something. Like, sexually assaulting people, sex workers.
No,
But
in some states, they're okay.
really?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I did read that. I just didn't think prostitutes because it was like, I guess just their detainees in general, they're allowed to have sex with. I don't even know if I should call it
like,
sex.
before they're
Like, that's a
detained.
power dynamic where I feel like, even if it's not illegal, like, that is rape.
Yeah, engage in copulation,
Yeah.
intercourse. You know, like, yeah, even before they do it, they're allowed to continue on with the transaction, and then arrest them after the fact.
Yeah, that's
Hello to the three people on the stream. Sex work is real work.
Do you advocate for that, like, explicitly sometimes, or is that just like a passive thing that you support? Like, do they even have like sex worker rallies or something?
Not rallies, but I mean, there is at least an IWW cohort for sex workers.
Yeah.
And, like, there are organizers. Most of the stuff I've seen is dealing with legislation and trying to get, like, getting FOSTA SESTA repealed. Obviously, because of the subject, it can't be very public. But you can't just have, like,
I'm preemptively mad for what we're going to be hearing for the next several years, I mean, I remember Republicans saying Obama should be impeached because he wore a tan suit one time, you know?
Yeah.
And like after everything, like I just know they're still gonna go back to, you know, trying to make attacks like that
Mhm.
when there are so many legitimate criticisms they could have, but
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get a lot worse. How many state capitals were like basically under attack the same night?
yeah. I mean, admittedly, I didn't look into it that much. I just like passively saw a headline saying that like Louisiana or something was attacked or whatever it was.
Yeah, Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, Philadelphia. They
Outbursts.
no, yeah, and
Because
I
they
think-
use
I think
polite
we can-
language when it's white people, because the white people have to be respectable.
I think, barring anything else happening for the next 2 weeks, there's going to be another big something happening on inauguration day.
Yeah. I saw where Parler posts were being made, calling for action. I mean, in that video that Trump put out today, it was like just calling for, you know, peace or whatever he was saying. But I mean, like we all know what he really wants to happen. I think it's entertaining for him, and he's hoping that it will work in his favor. I think the only reason why he put out that video, trying to seem, like, he was like actually like role playing as a president. I think the only reason why he put it out was, you know, because he was afraid that the 25th Amendment actually would be invoked, and he wouldn't get the chance to pardon himself or anything. So I need to get that Goron dude past this helicopter without getting in that light. You can just stand near this shelter. Yeah, I'm very good.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
Coming!
It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck for a while. If people have the inclination to donate to, you know,
Right.
obviously not Trump's equivalent.
Ready.
Just remember that DC doesn't do cash bail, so if you see any funds or bail
Wait up.
in that area,
Yep.
don't donate to them because they're scams.
Yeah, that's good info.
But yeah, what else? And you know, send some money to some local communities. There's a Food Not Bombs in the Raleigh, you know, Triangle area, doing good work. You know, your local communities.
The people watching are probably bots from like Iraq or something. They're
Who knows? People in Iraq need mutual aid too.
True.
Coming.
But you know, because things are gonna probably get really bad over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
This isn't something that's just gonna die out because Joe Biden is in prison.
I mean, Trump, Ivanka, whoever else already, you know, even if they deleted, if Ivanka deleted the tweet and Twitter deleted a couple of Trump's tweets, like, the position is already clear. Like, they called them patriots and heroes. I saw that like the hashtag MAGA martyr is trending, referring to the woman who was shot and died after she did she shoot at the police, or I don't know what happened.
She was done.
She what?
She was just like the people around her were being rowdy. She was unarmed,
Yeah.
so which like fuck state violence, but also like
Yeah.
bad leftist.
Yeah. I mean, I would feel sympathetic if it was like an actual just cause, you know? Like, I can't imagine a scenario where it would be like, okay, shit, we actually do need to like occupy the Capitol or something. But if it was a scenario where like it was due to an actual unjust, government persecution, and I mean, there are reasons why I could see occupying that now. Like, okay, we need universal health care, or we need, to end mass incarceration, and then take the Capitol and demand action be taken. But a terrorist insurrection just because you're sad that daddy lost re-election, like, that's not, out of all the reasons, like, especially like as a person of the working class, like, how are you going to justify that to yourself? Like, you're acting on behalf of a whiny billionaire. Half the people that were there probably, put themselves in debt paying for a plane ticket, and are going to go back and be on food stamps, or depend on whatever unemployment insurance they get because they got laid off during the pandemic. It's insane. It really is a cult. And I mean, I know that Biden's narrative is like, oh, we just need to be decent to these people and unity, but there is such a thing as too far gone. Like, if someone just has that kind of mindset where they want authoritarian leadership and they want to rally behind all the things that they hate, under the guise of something else, like, they're just gonna do it no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't know what needs to be done. Like, I don't think there is anything that can be done. They're just gonna have to deal with, there's gonna be a huge, string of, like, we're just gonna see a ton of right-wing weirdos, do a Pulse nightclub shooting every single night. That's how I'm imagining it. Like, just the sheer amount
I mean, they're not going to do the nightclub shooting. They're still on the pandemic. Nobody's at the nightclubs.
One of the underground nightclubs. Or whatever, wherever people are. Wherever they know that a lot of, like, people of color or queer people are going to be. Like, there's just been so much agitation, and they think that like, demographics are a homogenous group, and I don't know. Do you think I'm being, like, too reactionary and that I'm anticipating something that's never going to happen, at least to that scale? Because I mean, I really think we're going to have, like, a huge spike in it. Or not even a spike, it's going to be like a plateau. Like, over a long period of time, we're just going to continue to see a ton of right-wing hate crimes.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, we saw an uptick when he took office. Even just his candidacy was around.
Rivali's Gale is now ready.
And, like,
there are no serious attempts made to address the situations that led to Trump. Like, this is going to be like common leftist talking about address the issues that led us to Trump in the first place. And he's not doing it. Biden is looking for we can't just like let this keep happening like this.
There needs to be some
And
kind
by
of
the time-
definitive action that like establishes that you can't commit hate crimes on people and think that it's fine. Like,
yeah, like it,
if normal or like neutral and slow progress is agitating the right that much, like you might as well just rip off the band-aid. And I mean, that's never gonna happen,
yeah,
since like we feel like we're so lucky to have, you know, what, 4 progressives in Congress, or how many is it
Yeah.
at now? There's Bernie, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Tulsi Gabbard.
Rashida Tlaib. Oh, you're including
Wait.
Tulsi Gabbard on the list of progressives?
Sorry, I was thinking of Ilhan again. Never mind.
Rashida
Whatever.
Tlaib
The brown women. How many brown women are there?
Oh my god!
I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a clear joke.
It was Rashida Tlaib.
I'm
and
canceled now.
Ayanna Pressley. Yeah.
There was that.
But yeah.
There was a Muslim guy that was recently elected.
I mean, I haven't really
God
looked
damn it!
into.
I don't remember the names of the new people.
Yeah. I haven't looked into them closely, but the 2 new Democratic senators from Georgia. Boy, was that first race a close one. Oh god. I was watching it, it was like 97% reporting, 1,000 votes separating Republican on top. It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, for a while there, it was saying that Purdue was leading. It's kind of fun. And I mean, honestly, like, I don't know what I was expecting. I tried not to think about it too much because I didn't want to get my hopes up. But I'm very pleased now that at least there is a possibility that anything will pass. Even if it's not progressive legislation, like, at least we might get, you know, more COVID relief, even if there's, like, a bunch of, like, corporate pork tacked on. But, like, I think we'll at least see some, like, not even slightly, well, I guess slightly progressive would be the term. I mean, Biden, he at least in his campaigning said that he was going to get a public option. We'll see if that happens. Yeah, public option doesn't address any of the actual underlying issues, but at least it's like a slight movement toward public medicine. I don't know. It's a lot better than having 4 more years of Trump.
It's gonna be like, it's gonna be used as a proof against public health care, because the only people who sign up are going to be either too sick or too poor to afford anything else, and it's just gonna be shitty quality.
That's true.
Like, Medicaid right now sucks, and like, literally the only way that insurance at all makes sense is if everyone is doing it. You have to get everyone on board, and that's why, like, unpopular as it is, like, in Obamacare, like, the fine if you didn't have insurance was there, because, like, you have to compel people to do it.
Yeah.
Especially who probably are sick.
And I mean,
Because the more people you have paying in, the less everyone has to pay.
Has Biden said if he's going to keep the mandate or not? Is it like you have to have health care, but you just get to either choose the public option or private health care?
I can look it up real quick, but
Fair enough.
depression cuts
I don't know if you remember, but you said that earlier too.
Yes, according to
Yes to what? He's going to keep the public option.
he's gonna keep the mandate.
Or I mean, yeah, that's right.
There's NPR.
Hippity hoop, hippity hoop.
Oh dang.
Mandate.
I never noticed before this dude has abs. I thought he was like a chubby rock man, but he's got like an 8-pack.
Yeah, that's what muscular dudes look like. They're just thick.
But I mean, it's really the like private healthcare industry itself that's actually like causing the or really necessitating the massive like price gouging in our healthcare system. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's why public option doesn't really do jack shit.
Yeah, like
Dang. Now I'm
It's-
worried you're
it's
right
kind of
that it's
like
not
a-
gonna like set up for more progressive legislation, but like they're gonna point to it and say that like costs haven't gone down, and they'll even say it like went up because they'll point to inflation or something.
I mean, it's a chicken and egg situation. Prices are high because like hospitals are like trying to make some more money, and like the insurance company, you know. Insurance companies overpay for it. It's two separate and simultaneous issues. Like medicine don't have to cost that much. I accidentally forgot that I was on death insurance. Like it hadn't come up because insurance is basically on a bit. My mom had signed me up on hers, so I had overlapping insurance with it. So I got like all 4 of my wisdoms were taken off. That was fun.
What kind of insurance was that? I had to pay a pretty sizable chunk for mine with TRICARE, but TRICARE is infamously bad.
My mom's is Blue Cross Blue Shield, and dad's is a regional Colorado. He's a
Once my father was basically like, you know, have a nice life, I made an appointment with Campus Health because I'm sure he's petty enough to take me off his health insurance benefits, even though it's free.
My dad got his second vaccine today.
Second, like, COVID dose?
Yeah. So he's been feeling a little blue since then.
Is it just open to, like, the general populace now? I thought they were still
He's a
in, like,
lab. He worked.
right. Yeah, I know you said he was a microbiologist, I think, but That's cool.
So he's you know what's really cool?
What?
A ton of doses just fucking expired because our healthcare system is shitty and cannot coordinate.
Oh yeah, I saw something where someone got charged for intentionally leaving out and letting 500 doses go bad. Like an actual healthcare worker that like bought into the conspiracy that like, they were trying to fight with people, and so he just let them go bad. Yeah.
Why are you even a healthcare worker though?
Yeah.
What's the point?
I mean, I guess if it was just like a nurse or something, or not even a nurse, but like a CNA.
Whose health are you caring for? It's a
Drugs.
vaccine. I just love the shit that runs around on right-wing meme pages, because like I saw this one thing. The meme was claiming that it was the circuit plan for the microchip.
Yeah.
It was literally the circuitry for, and I don't do it much. I barely know but it was a circuit board for the pedal thing that musicians use to
Like the pedal board.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's another example. Like whoever first, started circulating that, like they literally had to have known that it was a lie, and then perpetuated it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Are there
it said
random-
treble on?
yeah, like are there random civilians who are literally like that insane who intentionally spread misinformation, which is actually going to get people killed in a case like that? I don't get it. Or, I mean, unless it's like some government psyop or something where they intentionally want to like pair certain like conspiracies together to make them both look ridiculous. I heard that as a theory about QAnon one time, that they want to make the general public ignore the stuff with Epstein and the connection with the Clintons and stuff. So they threw in a bunch of stuff about like...
Reach around.
Say again?
What a fucking double reach around. Like how... it's so convoluted.
Which part? You just mean like the whole thing?
It's all a... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's like a pipeline by which like elites have a much, much easier time getting in office like that. But like they really think that the FBI, which, just hires like ordinary people, they think that every single person in the FBI is gonna do whatever the Clintons tell them, or they like it involves so many people who they think are all working together, and like they would all have to stay silent. There's not like an intern who happens to hear something when they're like bringing the coffee.
Like that's the most compelling argument of these conspiracies. Is like how many people have to just be contemplating deep sea. I mean, I kind of get how a normal person would look at that like circuitry kind of, because like when I see something like that, I have no idea what's going on in my brain. Share it.
Like
Just ask
there
this
are a
in
lot
my
of
group.
things that are like really sus, but the fact that they latch onto those things and they come up with the most convoluted explanation possible and then treat it as fact. Like, that's why in these discussions with people, like, I try not to be condescending about it, but I have to explain to them, like, you understand why just because something, like, fits internal logic doesn't mean that it's true. Or, like, the concept of Occam's razor, or, you know, countless number of, like, logical fallacies.
I go back and forth. I overestimate the intelligence or the capabilities of the U.S. government because they've done some stupid shit. But I don't want to underestimate it at the same time. I'm just like, but what if it's all a ruse? It's the paranoia sucks.
I mean, there are absolutely, like, some conspiracies that, like, end up being true later on, or things that, like, sound like conspiracies but are true, like the FBI taking out, like, civil rights leaders.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are a lot of things. I'm sure there is, like, some truth to certain elements about QAnon, like, as far as which elites, like, might actually be pedophiles because, you know, they had really close ties with Epstein, and, like, it's kind of obvious when someone has a bunch of 14-year-old girls around and everyone's calling it, like, pedophile island or whatever. But yeah, that's why some of the people who have paid attention to QAnon but don't believe in it think that it's like a psyop, so that by pairing lizard people with Epstein, if you say, like, oh, the Clintons are sketchy because they are around Epstein, that's going to make people automatically, you know, label you as ridiculous. And I mean, like, at least that part of it does seem like something you should at least pay attention to. But it's just too much.
Have you heard of just a brief moment of levity? Have you heard of Operation Mongoose?
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember what it is.
It was a CIA operation to overthrow the Cuban government in the 60s.
Right. I feel like you might have told me about this before. Have you mentioned it before?
I don't know about you, but like it's basically this is where my biggest like what's going assassination attempt.
It is my pleasure.
Included cigars poisoned with botulism toxin, a tubercle bacilli infected scuba diving suit, along with a booby-trapped conch placed on the sea bottom, an exploding cigar, a ballpoint pen.
I know about the exploding
This is
cigar.
bad! Out of the way!
Sorry. It was really loud with these, like, exploding boulders or whatever the fuck.
I can't hear this.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the thing about the exploded cigars. There was something else recently. I think it was the Coney 2012 thing. I might be misremembering, but I think it was an internet historian video talking about Coney 2012, and there was like an FBI plan to take him out, and Coney, the like Nigerian dictator or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? The Coney 2012 thing.
I mean, vaguely. I saw like the ads, but I was 13, so I wasn't paying attention.
There was a big like campaign where they sold these boxes of like flyers and stuff, and they were gonna put them all up in the span of one night, but then there was something where it came out that they were like oh yeah, someone claimed that Coney was already dead, and that the campaign was like wrong about certain things. Sorry, my memory is shit, but apparently Coney, the Nigerian dictator, who like he had like an army of children and stuff. Does that ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
He was like taking kids away from their families and like making them kill their families so that they have no one to go back to, and then basically made them, you know, indentured servants in his personal army for the rest of their lives. Yeah, and supposedly he, you know, did this with, I want to say, like the claim was that it was like millions of children.
He's Ugandan, not Nigerian.
Ugandan, okay. Yeah, my memory is shit. Do you know the way? Do you know the way to Uganda? Cringe. So apparently he was a fan of, was it, okay, one of them was definitely, what's her name? The woman that played Tomb Raider, Laura Croft.
Mm-hmm.
What is that actress's name?
Angelina Jolie.
Right, Angelina Jolie, and I think it was like Brad Pitt or something. The Coney was supposedly like a really big fan of theirs, and some FBI dude came up with a plot where he was going to have Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt invite Coney to a lunch or something, and like they were just gonna have them assassinate Coney basically, and the whole thing was basically just a plan for the FBI dude to meet celebrities. Apparently he reached out to a bunch of celebrities, emailed them like begging to set up a meeting to talk about it.
Wow.
Sorry, that was a really convoluted setup just to explain that.
Just to talk. I'm reading on Wikipedia that as of 2017, he is no longer considered a threat to the government.
Or did he
So
gain
alive.
so much power that now he's just not considered a threat because he is big brain.
What's your favorite conspiracy?
You know, I haven't really like hardcore looked into very many. Like I think it's literally just Q that I've actually done my own like deep dive into. I mean, I've watched videos on like Mothman, Bigfoot, stuff like that, but Q's the only one where I've actually bothered to like try to like debunk or, you know, analyze certain things myself.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What's yours?
Probably that Prime Minister that Justin Trudeau is an illegitimate son or secret son of Fidel Castro.
Is that a new one?
I mean, relatively. You know, I mean, it probably came in more prominence for those two comments. And people are like, oh, what the heck is this? Whatever. But like the basis of it is that as a teenager, Castro and Trudeau looked incredibly similar, and Trudeau's parents have been photographed with Castro a few times.
Do they even look similar?
And
like, I'm trying to picture it. I don't think they do.
well, if we look at as a teenager, like on his high school, the resemblance is a little bit, but this whole conspiracy theory hinges on the fact
That they just look similar.
Justin Trudeau. No, his nipples are round.
Well, that is foolproof logic.
Well, because his brothers are. And, you know.
Now I'm starting to
Castro's a
wonder.
Hispanic man.
I mean, maybe he is.
Why would
You
why
can't
would
really
two
fight that
French
logic.
Canadian-
I mean, try to fight that logic. It makes sense.
And like nobody's contesting. Like,
Will I
his
get
mother,
banned by
like, in
Twitch
all
if I
this
show my
theory, like,
nipples
his
on
mother-
stream?
No, 'cause
I'm
you have dude
checking.
nipples.
Dude nipples are fine?
Dude nipples are fine.
Okay, well, I don't know if you're
No
right,
prison
so I'm not gonna do it. I'll research for next time, so I'll know for sure if I can show my nipples on stream. Just to prove that
Give
I'm
the
not an
people what
agent,
they want.
that I'm not an agent of Castro.
No, but like in all these theories, like people are like, oh yeah, because Justin Trudeau's mom just slept with Castro and had Justin, and it's because Justin's brother is him. That's their thing. They're like, what's happening here?
So low.
But yeah, like Trudeau's parents did Cuba quite a few times. Like in the 60s and 70s.
I mean, 60s and 70s, they might not even know who they partied with, you know?
You know?
I mean, they could have just, like, tripped on some acid and, like, thought they hallucinated that they fucked Fidel Castro, and then, like, they never even knew that it was actually real. So, you know what? I buy it. I think it's true. Say what?
I think it's true.
We need to let everyone know about this. This is a start on a massive platform. Will help get the word out. Audience, if you're listening, do this good work for your country. And let the world know that Trudeau is Castro's son.
Pictures on the iceberg. Investigating this. He's right.
Can I put this in a browser so it'll actually show up on stream? Ah,
It's the
Yeah,
same man. It's the same man.
here, I'll show
Look
the
at
stream.
that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of similar. It's not a very good photo, though. You know
Well,
what?
that's the only
Nah,
photo
I
that
take it back. Maybe, like, from the brow line up, it's kind of similar. Except the eyebrows are totally different shapes. Like, the nose is a different shape. The chin is too small.
I'm just saying.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't
have
be
this one.
surprised if they were related, But like, who the fuck saw this and legitimately was like, I think Trudeau is Castro's son? Now, what is this photo you sent?
That's his family with Justin's older brother, if I recall.
Mm.
So the two people on the left are his parents, and then Castro's Castro, obviously.
Well, maybe they do look pretty friendly with them.
It's all leading back to Epstein.
I mean,
He's
this
gotta let him
this
fuck
makes
that
a hell of a
baby.
lot more sense than QAnon. Maybe I'll do that. We could go through like my QAnon debunkings. I don't know if you've looked at any of those.
No, I don't think I have. Yeah, go for it, because
That
I
would be interesting.
know like 2 things about Q.
Is there a way that I can change the information for my stream? Yes, I can. Sweet.
Fucking around.
Maybe I should put it in all caps, even though it's annoying. It'll get people's attention. Debunking Q Anon.
Because some more news. They've published 2 videos now, but the first one got taken down, like about Q and like what it is, and like at the time of the first video, the whole theory was like severely underdeveloped. So it was just like the basics, like pedophile sex ring. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just know the basics of like what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. This should be interesting then. Give me 1 second while I get more
Yeah, no
drugs. Oh, I
Hey, 3
realized
people in
I
the
realized
audience.
last
You
time
can
when you and Anthony were on talking to me, I like went to the bathroom and I muted myself on like Streamlabs, so it should have been muted on stream, but I didn't mute myself on Discord, so you probably heard my stream.
No, I don't think I did. I don't think it registered. So did not hear your Mongo pics.
I remember thinking that there was like an odd silence, and I was like, did they hear me somehow? And then after that, I realized that I didn't mute myself on Discord. Anyway.
Under this. Okay. Hello, stream.
Secrets. Oh wait, I was muted when I said that. I gave Parker permission to tell everyone my deepest, darkest, why can't I say that word? Secrets. Don't actually do it.
It was the.
You can tell a
it was the
moderately dark
fall.
secret.
Yeah, it was the spring of. Fuck, what year was it? It was 2015. It was May. We were at a concert. He got kicked in the fucking head, and then he became stupid for the rest of high school. Yep, that's the deepest, darkest secret. You know, you can comment. We're looking at it. I'm looking at it. I will draw his attention. Yeah. Yeah. Hunter is the first person I saw Rocky Horror with. And I've since become a degenerate transsexual myself. What else? More secrets. I don't know. I have no secrets. I am an open book. If you ask me questions in the chat, perhaps I will answer. Okay, I'm unable to be interesting. September 11th, 1973, the U.S. aided in a coup attempt in Argentina or Chile. I always get them mixed up. I don't know why. I think it was Argentina. I'm pretty sure it was Argentina. It was in Chile. I got it wrong. This is my whole thing, and I can't get it right. But anyway, on that day, we said, "Hey, Mr. Democratically elected president of Chile, you're a socialist and everything. Get the fuck out of there." And then we installed a dictatorship and bombed the equivalent of the White House.
This was highly entertaining to listen to. Thank you for providing quality content for my stream. I enjoyed the part where you told them I lost 60 IQ points by going to a Carolina rebellion.
I didn't even reveal that many details. I just said you got stupid after that.
Yeah, I'm saying it a different way to be slightly more entertaining. Or not more entertaining, just to keep it interesting. Because people don't want to hear the same thing twice.
Yeah. Tried to get into Mensa, didn't get in because it was post Carolina Rebellion.
Was it?
I do believe.
I think it was.
Thought it was.
Damn, you fucked me up for life, huh? You ruined my life.
I mean, the only
I guess
people
we're
who
even.
believe in IQ. Oh no! It took a second to catch up with me. Oh no!
Oh my god.
You gave me emotional damage, and I fuck up your intelligence. That's what you get.
You gave me emotional trauma. No, sorry. I gave you emotional trauma. You gave me blunt force trauma. See, I sustained so much damage to the head, I can't even get my words right. Alright, so we're going to my website. And we're going to qanon.pub. Should be able to see this. Although, I guess there's going to be a lag for you. So, you can also go to qanon.pub if you want to look at it yourself, but that gives you the raw text for every single Q post. And you can sort it from newest to oldest to newest, or you can type keywords. So you can type in like win, and it'll say 259 posts contains the word win. Yeah, and then there's a button.
I like the one that's just Durham.
Yeah, that's the newest one, I think, or one of the newest ones. Second to newest.
It's the second.
Yeah. And I think he was talking about there was someone with the last name Durham that was like in the news. When I first saw it, I was like, Durham? Am I about to get bombed or something? But
No.
yeah, and then like there are all kinds of different posts. Sometimes it's just a like random photo. Sometimes it's responding to someone else. And then off to the right side, there are those three buttons, and the one that looks like, an open Bible or something, has what they're calling proofs, because they are intended to show that Q and the president are actually, cooperating with each other, and that Q is providing information directly from the president, and they communicate back and forth to work on these things. They have absolutely no description for some reason, which is incredibly annoying, because when I'm trying to, look through these, like, it would help if they did a keyword or something that's just random strings of numbers and letters. So this is what I've been going through and doing in order. Like, if I click on it, it's a photo,
Yeah.
So this
I'm
one,
looking at that photo actually.
yeah, so someone asks Q incorporate the phrase tip top into the State of the Union address, and then it has a picture of, Trump giving a speech um, later on, and he says in tip top shape. Um, so in my first debunking, my first point is that this is not the State of the Union address. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't even fulfilled, but they're calling it a proof when it's, a little more than 2 months later. It's not the State of the Union address.
And it's words that he says somewhat frequently.
Yeah, so I think I like looked through transcripts of his past speeches, and he uses tip top a lot. So, like, it's just things like that where it's like, if you just think about it for 2 seconds, you'll understand why. Like, a phrase they like to use is how many coincidences until it's mathematically impossible. But it's not even a coincidence. Like, it's just expected.
Yeah.
Plus, like, Q never even responded to this Anon and said, like, okay, I'll do it. Like, he only said after Trump said it. He was like, oh, it was requested. There you go. So, should I look at the articles that I wrote on it, or no? We can just organically look at it and talk about them. Are you looking at the different ones, or?
Yeah, I'm looking at. I don't know if I'll be able to find which one. These aren't numbered. It's the first one that is a JPEG file.
Yeah,
I'm trying to fucking decode what the fuck this is.
Wait, the first one that's a JPEG file. That should be the tip top one, right? Or did you mean? Oh, you mean the one that has
says,
like JPEG, PEG?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think this is one of the ones that I did most recently. So the point is that Q made a couple posts where he said good win, and then has the number 15 in brackets. And this is one of many instances where they call this a delta, referring to the time interval between two things. So it was 15 minutes between Trump's two tweets. And so they said that Q, with the 15 in brackets, is telling them, hey, it's going to be 15 minutes between two things, and that's supposed to be a wink and a nod to, like, legitimize his credibility. So if you search through the database, you can see countless posts where, I mean, he really just likes to use brackets a lot in all of his posts. Like, it'll be numbers, words, all kinds of stuff. And it'll be either in the post or at the end. He never says, hey, this is a delta, this is going to be a 15-minute interval. And as far as, like, the word win or good win, like, the reason those were made is because there was an article by Michael Goodwin, who consistently writes articles for the New York Post in favor of Trump. So that's why Trump brings him up pretty often. And so, of course, they're going to talk about it that day if there's a significant article that is in the mainstream being discussed. Like, it's not much of a coincidence. Let me see.
Yeah.
So that was part 10 of my series. My
The
website is
thing
trash.
the thing that was emphasized the most in the some more news videos is that, like, more often than not, Q will say something will happen and then it just won't.
Yes,
Like,
all the time. Like some of his first posts, he was talking about how Hillary Clinton was gonna be arrested. They were like, "Oh, pending arrest warrant for Hillary Clinton. We know she's here. She's about to be arrested at this time," and then like it just doesn't happen. And every time that happens, they just completely ignore it, and it happens over and over. Q will also say vague things like, "Oh, wait for this date. Something significant is going to happen." Um, Here, he said, "Booms en route. This is not a drill. Tomorrow." And like to me, that implies, talking about, like missiles are going to come, and like it just doesn't happen.
is there any confirmation it's even the same person? Because, like,
They have
4chan's
something where they
anonymous.
establish. I'm not that familiar with how 4chan works, or 8kun, or whatever website he originally posts on. I think it's 8kun because when I click on this, it like takes me to 8kun, which I'm even less familiar with than 4chan. But I think like this letter Q, like you get to put your username as whatever, but it also has these 12 um, 12 character long, what are called hash codes.
Mhm.
And there have been some posts where like he'll include a couple letters or something, and they'll circle it and say that it matches the next hash code, and that's how he's verified. But it very well could be different people. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah.
and whenever they're asked about like why he's not direct, their reasoning is that Trump will be in trouble if it's verified that Q is working with him. Like if it's 100% made obvious, then Trump will like be targeted by the deep state or whatever. But do they really think that somehow this is under the FBI's radar? But like if it was confirming things, if it was an actual confirmation at all, even if it like looked likely or possible, like if the conspiracy was that big, they would take out Trump immediately regardless.
Yeah. I don't know.
And like a lot of it is also
this,
posed as questions like, did Hussein, referring to Obama, whenever they refer to Obama they call him Hussein, contact Matt Murray in attempt to persuade not to publish? Like a lot of it is always posed as questions because it gives him plausible deniability. That's why he very rarely ever says this is going to happen. And he'll never say, "Oh, Trump is going to say blah blah blah" in his next tweet, because like he needs plausible deniability in order to keep people on the hook.
please fix the bread and tidy up the ship.
So all of his posts are referred to as crumbs, and they say that like it's called making the bread when you put it together. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
I think there might have been one where. Let's see, is it this one? I'm trying to think if there ever was one where he was like, "Oh, look for blah blah blah" in the next tweet.
Do you remember when #MeToo lost all credibility when they refused to support Tara Reid coming forward regarding claims of sexual assault by Joe Biden?
I haven't covered
Political
that one
movement?
yet, but it's like wasn't Tara Reid like decades before Me Too was even a thing, right? Didn't she come
I
forward
mean,
like
she came
way
out
back in the
about
day?
it recently.
She did.
She came forward about it again recently.
Again, yeah, but like originally it was like way back, right?
I don't know. I wasn't keeping up with it.
Um,
Cause like I was just like, oh yeah, probably.
and it's
Cool.
also like that's not even a thing. Like, why would that? Like, what does it mean as far as credibility with Me Too? Like, Me Too isn't an organization disseminating information. It's a hashtag with people telling their stories. Like, it's just all
Yeah.
utter nonsense. That's like, it's just rhetoric that they want to accept. Like, they just readily accept this information because it fits their worldview. Um, like, they literally think that Democrats are like demons who want to drink the spinal fluid of infants, you know? And I'm
I want
being
to drink
literal
the
about
spinal
that.
fluid.
Say again?
I want to drink the spinal fluid of infants.
Yeah, it's delicious, honestly. It's really good if you pair it with the right cheese.
Sorry, I'm reading a Ben Garrison comic.
The what?
There's a Ben Garrison comic in like October 15th.
You must be going
I
through
like how
these
the date
super
scrolls
quickly.
down.
I haven't even gone through,
No, I'm just
most of
not
them.
reading everything.
That's why, like, there were just so many of these that when I looked at, five. Dustin is apparently watching. He messaged me on Discord. I've heard spinal fluid is supposed to be sweet. Thank you for watching, Dustin. I really appreciate the support. When I saw that there were like 5,000 posts from Q, I decided to just go through the proofs instead.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to just take the few pieces of information and then show why either it contains like a logical fallacy, false information, bad premises, or I mean, on occasion it could just be like a weird coincidence, but so far I haven't even found anything like that. Like in this case, there's stuff where Q will supposedly, make he'll put information out there before it's made available to the public. Like here with this Peter Strzok interview, who's one of the people who talked about the Russiagate stuff. There was like a deposition where he was talking to them, and Q made a post where he like put some quotes, like saying that he was quoting what Strzok was saying in this deposition, and at the time, like that transcript from the deposition was classified, but later on, they declassified it, and so I was able to just search through the entire transcript and find that none of those quotes were actually in the transcript, I mean, there were some like predictions that were kind of true, but like none of the quotes were accurate. I mean, he said like, oh, texts were taken out of context, or something like that. Or saying, on advice of counsel, I decline to answer that question. Like, the most vague lines ever, which, in addition to never being word for word, are just very easy to predict things anyway. Like, of course someone is going to, like, invoke their Fifth Amendment rights if they're going to incriminate themselves to the FBI. Like,
it's just I commend you for doing this, because this is a pile of shit, and I wouldn't even I'm just. I've scrolled upon one that just says James Comey treason over and over again in batches of 5.
See, like
Like, what is...
the first quote that he does is texts taken out of context. So like I just typed that in, and like there are no results for it, and that's out of a 312-page transcript. There was another thing like, yeah, we don't need to go into every single example, but like most of it is either just in like disinformation or like just making these wild assumptions. Or
Yeah.
one of the most recent ones, I changed my website URL recently, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, which one was it? Oh yeah, so this one was funny to me. So the point of this is Q linked to this video of JFK reading the Declaration of Independence. Did I link to it to make it easy on myself? I guess not. But yeah, anyway, it's just, I guess JFK read the full Declaration of Independence and it was recorded, and someone uploaded it to YouTube 3 years before the Q post. So like it's definitely not Q that like uploads these videos or anything. But the transcript cut off, or I mean the video cut off right before JFK is supposed to say the last 2 words, sacred honor. And then later the same day, on the 4th of July, President Trump released a video where he includes the words sacred honor. And so they're like, wow, this is such a coincidence. How could Trump happen to say this phrase that was left out of this video that Q linked to? And it's like, okay, well, what is JFK reading? Declaration of Independence. What is Trump quoting? The Declaration of Independence. Of course he's going to include those words. So I was like, it's expected. So I linked to here Barack Obama. This page has a transcript of his speech that day, and he also includes the words sacred honor. Their lives, their fortunes, their sacred honor. Like that's what the president does, is include platitudes and dumb videos on holidays like the 4th of July. But people latched onto that, even though, like, for a clear reason, like, it's not a coincidence at all that they said the same thing. And people latch onto that, and they're like, oh my god, Trump and Q are working together. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is like, I feel bad for Q people because a lot of them, like I was saying earlier, I think do have good intentions. Like if they genuinely believe that Trump is rescuing millions of children from pedophiles every year, like that's a cause you can sympathize with. And I think that the reason why so many people have latched onto it is because like it is being censored on social media platforms because it's, you know, considered like dangerous speech or whatever for good reason. But the reason why free speech is important is because they're also going to censor anyone who has better information and is able to like debunk these things, because it's going to get lumped in with it. And if someone is seeking out what they've heard the media only refer to as a conspiracy theory, and then they look at it, and when they look at it, they don't just see, oh, hey, Trump is saving us from the deep state. They see all of these. They see all of these so-called proofs and 5,000 Q posts. And I think they're overwhelmed. So I feel bad for them, and that's why I'm like trying to trying to do this undertaking, because I haven't found anyone um, trying to go through and just like handle all of these.
I mean, it feels like never ending, and like
Yeah.
what's the point?
I
Like, you
mean,
can't prove a negative.
yeah, but I can prove that like um, they're including misinformation, or that later, you know, Q's claims were proven false. Like if he claims that this is a transcript from a meeting, and then like a few months later we get the real transcript and it's wrong, like shouldn't they just, based on that alone, be like, oh, this is just some like troll, like a really elaborate troll? Or
Yeah.
I've also wondered, like, um, and I mean, this was like an initial thing that I was wondering. I don't really believe this anymore, just because I've gone through and seen that like there aren't really very many coincidences at all. Um, I originally thought, like, even if uh, Q did say, "Oh, Trump is gonna say zibbly doo dah" in his next tweet, and then Trump said zibbly doo dah, and it was something really obvious like that, where it would be like, wow, that actually is like a really strong coincidence, um, like regardless of context. Um, Even then, like a more plausible explanation is that Q is just someone working with Trump and doing this weird PR stunt, you know? Like that's a way simpler and makes more sense as an explanation than saying that everyone is like a lizard person who drinks the blood of babies on the weekends, and that millions of people
Yeah.
are covering it up. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
I've
Like,
been
not even
rambling
getting
for the
into
last like
No.
30 minutes.
No, it's interesting. Like, not even getting into like the anti-Semitism of it all, and just like,
Yeah. Well, at the
yeah,
top of
it's
every
like a
like
weird
conspiracy theory, there has to be like a rich Jewish man, right?
Yeah.
Like it almost always comes back to anti-Semitism. So like, of course, at the top of this, they have to say that George Soros, um, you know, owns people. Here, let me search this.
Have you gotten your check from him, by the way?
Say what?
Oh, have you gotten your check from him, by the way?
Soros or Trump?
Yeah. Soros.
Oh yeah, he paid me to dress up in war paint and animal furs on my head and break into the Capitol.
You got back here really fast. Oh, I guess that's why you haven't been streaming for a few days yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they also
Back.
paid for a private jet for everyone, just to really maintain that like level of anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why did I did George instead of Soros. They might have a nickname
Just
for him though,
George.
because like you saw with Obama, they just call him Hussein. For John McCain, they say, we don't say his name. Instead of using a name, they say, we don't say his name. That was also one of their so-called proofs. Because it was like, oh, look, Q... God, I'm not able to keep these tabs straight. I'm going to close these again.
Start deleting tabs.
Yeah, I did. Which one? We don't say his name. Whoops. I opened it in a different window. So the point of this one is, hey, look, December 14th, 2017, Q said we don't like to say his name. And then again, later on, he says, why don't we say his name? We don't say his name again and again. And then the next year, Trump said, I don't want to be controversial, so I won't say his name. What a mess. So, like, I looked into it because, I remember Trump and McCain butting heads for a long time. And, like,
Mhm.
maybe people just have really short-term memory when it comes to politics. Because, like, I was able to easily find an article talking about where Trump was refusing to say McCain's name. And that was when McCain did his famous thumbs up to keep the ACA going, Obamacare.
Mm.
And like it just
Did
seems
that
like
video predate the Q post?
yeah, it predated all of them. That was in August of 2017 when the first Q post saying that was December.
Bro.
Like they just don't even try. Like it takes me a few minutes to like easily debunk the misinformation in their stuff or show why something is like very much out of context.
Mm.
And so I think like the reason why people latch onto this is because it's just easier for them to assume that it's true. Like maybe it helps them cope with
Be part of a club.
like maybe it helps them cope with having family members that are far right. Like they don't want to have to go against their family and friends or wherever they grow up. So if this is going to help them um, believe that Trump is the protagonist of the world, then that's what they're going to latch onto. So I really wish, like, even if they didn't talk about it very often, like, Q believers at this point are in the millions, to varying degrees.
Yeah.
I mean, I've found them like relatively easy to find. I mean, people are shy about telling me if they have any kind of like conservative beliefs at all, but like, truthfully, like, being anti-pedophile isn't a conservative belief. That's just being a decent person. So, like, it's not like saying that oh the Nazis were right or something. Like I don't think it should be censored, so that way it's easier for people to engage with it, and it doesn't seem like this elusive thing that the government or corporations are trying to cover up, because that just legitimizes things for people if they're conspiratorially minded. Like, of course, if you cover something up, they're just going to seek it out even more.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's also like kind of a club thing.
I just don't know how to like, because there's only so much you can do
Yeah.
before people just like succumb to brain rot.
But now I just
Right.
like it's terrifying how much of a pattern there is now of latching onto these conspiracy theories from right wingers specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
like with saying that these people are Antifa members or the election fraud, like it really is a cult. Like it defies all logic. They've just given up on reasoning.
Members of Antifa.
What? Members of Antifa?
Members of Antifa.
I'm talking about the Trump supporters.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Or
it's
were you quoting something? It might be because of the lag. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just like scoffing at the idea of like members of Antifa.
Oh, because it's not a centralized like organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Like, we have a little club, so they obviously are organized in a little club.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of have like chapters and like meetups and stuff, but like they act like people are flying each other in to rallies like all over the country. Like it's ridiculous. They act like we have some kind of like budget from George Soros, like we're being paid millions to be a professional protester slash rioter or whatever their narrative is.
If I could get paid to be a professional protester,
Hell
I'd be
yeah.
on an FBI list.
I mean, essentially, like, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I mean, it's a different kind of protest, but, like, if you're a political person,
Yeah.
it's just crazy to me. Like, everyone is angry because they're, like, passionate about it, but, like, we just don't agree on, like, what the issues are.
Yeah.
I mean, at least people that are, like, operating in good faith, but,
Mhm.
ugh. With the stuff like the Capitol, like, that makes me think that, you know, less and less people are operating, like, in good faith than you would think. Like, every single conservative on my social media platforms, like, just immediately, like, their first instinct is to deflect. Just deflect to Black Lives Matter and say it's someone else's fault or minimize it. So, like, for the party of personal responsibility, or whatever the phrase is they use, like, they just, like, they never take any accountability.
Mhm.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to, like, demonize other people. I have, like, in the back of my head, like, you know, a free society means people can make, like, radically different decisions. But, like, I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand how, like, just so fucking this about it. Oh god. There's one thing that I don't like to argue on a lot.
It's a waste of time. 99.9% of the time.
Yeah, so like, there's a video about like biphobia, and it was a black man asking like why black women as a whole avoid dating by black men.
Ready?
It was on
It was on TikTok. Is that what you said?
Yeah, because apparently that's a problem.
I didn't even know.
Like some,
Say again what it is. Why black women don't. Why black men don't.
no, like as a whole, black men apparently will not date by black men.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was someone under that video with a comment that was like, I'm not biphobic, but I won't date bi men because, like, I don't want a man that's into other men. And if he told me that past a few dates, I would consider that disrespectful. And I was like, that's literally biphobia, my dude. And they were like, no, it's not biphobia.
That's like, I mean, that's kind of like saying that you respect someone, like, I mean, just because I have a heteronormative brain, like, I'm just saying, like, if my girlfriend were like, oh, your sexuality should, like, not exist outside of, you know, your desire for me alone. Like, I don't know why anyone would consider that situation, like, reasonable with what you were saying about black women and bisexual black men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I phrased that
And
stupidly, but
yeah. Like the
Yeah.
point I'm trying to get to is like more and more I see that like, people are just denying that what they're doing is bigotry, even when it's like literally the definition of bigotry, and like they responded to my comment again with more of the same stuff. Trying to be more emo about stuff and like figure out what will actually so what is biphobia? And they just didn't. And like they're not obligated to, but like, you know, it would be more productive if like, oh, okay, well, what is your perception of this issue that like you feel like there's a disconnect? So like racists saying that they're not racist because they don't do X, Y, Z. The gay conservative dude, not my
yeah, not even conservatives like him. They find out he's gay.
But they see stuff that like systemic racism doesn't exist because there are no laws that like you know like stuff
Because
that like
they're not
fundamentally
like,
doesn't make
oh,
sense.
black women can't have certain rights or something.
Yeah.
Explicit.
Yeah. And when you try to explain it, it's
Like more complicated than just the N-word and not being allowed to like sit on the same bus or something.
it just doesn't click. Something doesn't click.
I mean, I guess the idea would be that, like, I mean, I guess, yeah, technically it's biphobia, but, like, by the same argument, couldn't you say, like, if you're straight, that you are sexist towards men or something? Like, I'm just saying that, like, following the same line of reasoning. If it's biphobia to not date a bisexual person, wouldn't that make you sexist for not dating someone of a certain sex?
That's not quite the same thing. Not only because like the question of you can't be like bigoted or sort of list towards someone with like the cultural power, so like you can't be sexist to men, prejudiced to individual men, like against individual men.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying necessarily, like, towards men. I mean, so by the same logic, like,
Yeah,
would a gay
no,
man
right.
be sexist against because he doesn't date
It's, like, I mean, there's
That
no,
was
like,
so cool! You really put a
interaction.
licking on that thing, Link. It's time to finish the job.
you know,
This
it's
is our
a
big
personal
chance.
relationship. It's not, like, I don't know. But like, only
So you're saying the difference is just like the power dynamic.
Yeah, like the only reason that you would not consider dating a person is because they are bi. Like that's, you know.
Yeah.
And like I'm some flavor of queer, so I don't entirely get like monosexual people anyway, but like it's like not the same thing.
Hey,
Because,
little
like,
guy.
I
Long
can't in
time
good
no
conscience
see.
tell like
I
you
always
why I
knew
like
you'd
men.
come back. You know,
You
I
know,
never
yeah,
stopped believing
it's
in you.
kind of the same, because that to me, like saying why don't you like men, is closer to saying like to a gay
You're here to
person,
take
like, why
control
don't
of
you
old
like
Redania back from Ganon,
Yeah,
eh?
opposite
And
gender
that's
peer.
like that's the point I was getting at. Like,
Yeah.
and I could see how a monosexual person would make the same argument about like why
You're gonna need a map
it's
that
okay
shows
to
the
not be
guts of
attracted
this
to
place.
bisexual people. But I guess the difference is like, you know, being heterosexual or
You can grab
queer
the
is
info
not,
from the guidance stone
like,
over there.
based on
Now
outward
get a
factors.
move on.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think I said that backwards. Or I guess, like, I'm saying you can't tell if someone is bisexual unless they are like obviously attracted to people of both sexes, or if they are telling you, right?
Yeah.
But then like that makes like a gross parallel to like if someone was like, oh, I don't like black people, right? If you're going to say that like it's okay to have outward preferences, or I mean it's discrimination by definition. But I guess like you were saying, the difference would be the power dynamic.
Yeah. And like obviously it's not like illegal, and like I wouldn't, like I don't want that one woman I was like interacting with to date bisexual men just for like their safety. Like I wouldn't want to put a bi dude in that situation. It's just kind of gross, and I would like encourage people to like really think about why, like one
Why
aspect
they
of a
have that
person
preference.
Yeah. Yeah.
It definitely comes from
Like,
an
I-
unhealthy place, but like, is it necessarily biphobia, or is it because they have an insecurity, like they were saying, that they don't want a partner that they know is going to be attracted to other people? Wait, is it about that, or were they saying that it was about like, oh, they think that there's something wrong with people who or are attracted to members of the same sex? Was that the reasoning?
From their other comments, it was just that the fact that they were capable of being attracted to other men.
Men specifically, or like the problem is that they could be attracted to
Men
other people?
Men specifically.
So it was about like the homosexual aspect of it.
I guess. But
Then
like,
that's definitely
it's not
like
better.
sus, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I retract all of my previous statements.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm on, I followed, like, the Am I the Asshole subreddit.
Yeah, I love that
lot,
sub.
and, yeah, I don't know if it's, like, partially algorithm, but I see a lot of, like, Am I the Asshole? This person I've been seeing came out to me as trans. Am I the asshole if I dump them? And
Yeah.
Like the
I've read a
comments on
couple
those
like
posts
that.
are the fucking worst. They're all the fucking worst. Like, am I an asshole if I'm not attracted? Well, no, you're not an asshole. You are a little bit transphobic though. If like you were clicking with this person until they told you they were trans, and like these posts are like cover like a variety of situations.
But
Like,
do they mean
pre-op,
like the
post-op.
sheer fact that their partner is trans, or is it the fact that they think that they're not going to be attracted to their partner like once they start transitioning or something, because outwardly like they're going to perceive them differently physically?
I mean, in most of these cases, like the Reddit posts that I've read, it's like very new relationships, and presumably this person is already passing as their gender.
Oh, so the idea is that like they are dating a woman, and then the person was like, "Oh, I was designated at birth as a man."
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the posts that I usually see. And then, like, obviously the issue is, like, most of the comments are like, you're not obligated to be attracted to trans people, and, like, those dirty trannies should disclose before you start dating, like, if they're trans and stuff. And it's just a little gross.
Yeah.
Because, like, some people do, like, have legitimate, like, trauma associated with, like, certain genitalia.
Yeah.
And, like, so a lot of people end up hiding behind, like a genital preference defense, and a lot like the racial preference defense for why some people don't date black people. It's just as bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, you know, it's just bits.
This
It's
is
just
why I
bits.
don't understand why people even try to label their sexuality in the first place. Like, why are you limiting yourself? You know? Like,
Yeah.
you could have maybe just never met a man before that you're attracted to, but, like, someday you could meet someone you are, you know? Or just because you've never met a black person that you're attracted to, which I find harder to believe anyway, but, like, someday you could. It doesn't make any sense.
Like, I find it
Like, just
more,
making-
like, helpful to describe.
Sorry?
No, I was just saying, like, I find it more helpful to describe, like, because, like, there's kind of, like, not a problem, per se, but, like, a little jokey joke where, like, people in a gay bar, like, two people will be flirting with each other and then realize that one is a lesbian woman and the other is a gay dude, and they both thought the other was, you know, their type. Yeah.
Wait, what?
So like there's a bunch of these like stories of like two people like flirting and making out in a bar, and then one of them's like, "Oh, I thought you were a woman." "Oh, I thought you were a dude." Yeah, so like I find it more like helpful to describe sexuality in terms of like attraction to like masculinity or femininity. And I know that's like binary, but you know, like
Yeah.
you know, like you're more attracted to like aspects of a person than you are the
Yeah, that's very true.
You can't see people's genitals in the street most of the time.
Well, I mean, you can see, like, secondary sex characteristics, but, like, obviously those are less definitive.
Those are a lot more valuable.
Yeah.
It's just, sexuality's weird. Get rid of it.
Yeah, very much is. And like I remember, I mean, as a kid, I was like, I didn't necessarily think that I could be like attracted to men, but I was scared that I could be, you know? Like I remember feeling scared as a kid that like one day I would find myself attracted to a man, or scared that I even considered it. Because, I mean, I was worried that, like, my family would disown me or something, because they definitely would have. I remember when my sister came out as bisexual. Well, I think initially my father was just like, no, you're not. People...
Yep.
I don't know.
Tracks. I remember in middle school, someone popular in our school asked if I was a lesbian, and I'm like my mom's gay, so like
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been as apprehensive as I was, but like I was like, oh, what? No, what do you mean? And then later I was like, wait, why did I have like such a visceral reaction? Like I had to make sure that I knew.
Yeah,
And
I had a
I
lot
was
of
making up crushes.
so-called friends in middle school and I think elementary school too, who like tried making fun of me by like saying that I was gay or whatever. And I mean, by that point, like, I just didn't care. I was like, who even fucking cares? I'm like, I know I'm not gay, but like, I don't know if I'm not attracted to men. And that was how I felt at the time. I'm like, who fucking cares? I'm not gonna limit myself like that. There are some fine dudes out there.
Yeah, it was just weird. I was like making up crushes on other dudes for like the year and a half that I had more than one friend.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you see Dylan? I have a crush on Dylan.
Picks whoever the like most popular dude is.
No, I went for the oddball choice.
Uh,
Just some dude on the soccer team. Nobody pays attention to the soccer team. That way they couldn't like push me into like actually asking him out.
yeah.
So like, bad.
I'm like stumbling around in the dark in this, trying to find where the terminal is. Oh wait, I think I found it.
I mean, I have no idea.
Okay, there we go.
It's just,
Wait, hold on a second.
yeah. Trans rights,
This AirPod died.
non-binary rights.
I'm gonna switch.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get off.
Greetings.
Hello!
Hey.
I'm gonna have to go.
You have to go?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, thanks for coming on and talking. I really appreciate it, as always.
We can talk about Flat Earth next time.
Fine. Deal.
Yeet.
Alright, later. Hello, audience.
Nice job getting the map of the
Is
divine
anyone I
beast.
know here? Anyone? Anyone want to chat? You want me to talk about QAnon? About Capital? About anything?
The terminals that control Rudania are noted by the
If you just
glowing
tuned
points
in,
on your
you
map.
kind of missed talking about QAnon for the last
To take back Rudania,
hour and a
you'll
half
need to activate
or more.
all of the terminals. You got this,
But
little
if you want me
guy.
to talk about a specific proof or something, I'm happy to. I was too busy talking to Parker the whole time when I had literally waited in order to do this Divine Beast for them to be on. And now they left. Do I go on? The layout is so confusing. It trips me out how these numbers are three-dimensional things. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but I mean, I used to be good at thinking spatially. Like, I played chess all the time, but now
There are
I
4
just stare at a
terminals
computer all
remaining.
day.
That's the way.
Doing work for chemistry classes. Which way do I go? Where's the switch? Oh, the chest fell. I was like, where did those come from? Let's look on this map. Where's the closest one? Spy. I don't know if I can get to that one yet. I'm missing something. Pro gamer, guys. Pro gamer. This is the deck we're heading. Just need to get on that. Please be patient. I'm stupid. change what the stream is to Breath of the Wild? Sweet. Yes, I can. Playing Breath of the Wild and discussing... What am I discussing? Talking to myself. Talking to myself like an insane person. Is this what people really do? Themselves? I don't understand how come people talk.
Yep.
I don't know if you can hear my groceries in the background. It's funny. She's crazy. A knight's bow. How many bows are there? Oh, there's a thing there. There's literally Is my quiver on fire? What is it? It's a I'm determined. There has to be a way to angle it, right? Might need to be.
Yep. Yep.
Little men. Someone let me know if they want to buy it. Trademark. The speed that it like moves the entire Divine Beast dungeon.
There are 3 terminals remaining.
Get irritated. Clicked on the wrong point for it to rotate to. Hey, if anyone was listening to the QAnon stuff earlier and wants to talk about it, you're also welcome to join Discord. Come on and talk about it live with me if you disagree with something I said as far as the debunking goes. or anything. Alright, get going. That was fast.
There are 2 terminals.
There's a ball. There's a big ball all the way down that track. Like you see those grates. There's a ball or a board that fits that hole. I was here earlier. Well, I don't want to keep doing this Divine Beast without Parker here, since it was kind of their thing, so... Thanks for watching, everyone. If you're going to talk to me about QAnon or anything else in the future, that would be awesome. Following would also be really nice. I also have a YouTube channel where I upload the full VODs, the videos of the full streams, unedited. So if you want to go back and see anything I've said, if you missed anything, then you're welcome to do that. Alright. I'm going offline. Have a good night.